Hey, and welcome to another YouTube update. It's been quite interesting these past couple of days since my last video. We've had Bitcoin rally up to around $73,000 and then come back down, and now consolidating in the range. So let's look at what's happening. Let's look at what's happening in detail during the latest move up. So what I want you to notice is that on different exchanges, measuring the current move of Bitcoin, you get different kind of price targets. So if we look at this wave here, so from 25,000 back in September 2023 last year, we've had this big wave. I would say a wave 3 up, and so far for me it's still not finished. And if we look at the index, this is the Bitcoin index chart, you can see the target for this wave 3, the extension 1.618, is around $76,000, right? So we still have a way to go there. Now if I go to the Bybit chart, and this is interesting as well, on the Bybit chart, because of the long wick here, so we actually went down to 23,000 on Bybit. That gives us a target of 73,000, which we hit earlier today. So this is coming up against resistance. So this is why I said between 73 and 76,000 was a possible target for wave 3. I still don't think it's quite finished, because I think we need a 5-wave move up. And for me, on the weekly, just looking at the weekly, this just looks like a 1, 2, 3. I think we'll need another correction, wave 4, and then finally wave 5 to finish the wave 3, the major wave 3 in the wave 5, and then we'll get our final wave 5 up, a macro top. So if I add in some other confluences, let's see, we have let's put on the major levels. So I still think that $84,000 range is something that could be a potential wave 3 end, the wave 3 end, and then we get a more substantial pullback from this area, maybe a 20%, even a 30% pullback from here. So if I show you this on the monthly, and then you can probably see it a bit more clearer. Let me take off the trend based. Okay, so if you look at this fib is actually pulled from the all-time high back in 2017 or 2018, and the all-time low back then as well. Because I do think, and you might think I'm a bit strange saying this, I think we are finishing that move, that cycle. So what I mean by that is, if I just zoom in a bit so you can see, we had the wave 1, wave 2 coming down, wave 3 here, which was at the 1.618, wave 4 coming all the way down, and now we're back into the wave 5, the major wave 5. Okay, so major wave 5 targets. Now this is the target area I think ultimately will hit before November 2024. So I do have a target of June, and I think June is going to be a pivotal month, wherever we are. But we have the $84,000 target, and looking at the strength of this wave 3 in the wave 5, I don't think the 84 will be the top. The 84 might just be the top of the wave 3, the minor wave 3 in this whole massive wave 5 move that we're having. So yeah, potentially I'm thinking that 84 really won't be the top of the cycle. So then we have the next area, which is 100,000, and then we have the extension, the 2 here, okay, on the fib, which is coming in at 125,000. Now I do think the top's going to be somewhere around here when it comes. And if I put another fib on there, which I've named it here, the current. So what this fib is, let me just take off. So what this fib here is measures the high to the low of the current move, so not taking in the whole move. And what we see here, we see some I want to see some confluences with these fibs, and what we have is the actual, this level, the $125,000 level, has really strong confluences. It has the 1.382 local fib with the the 2.0 macro fib, so that is actually a strong confluence. The one that 100,000 has the 1.886, and I think if I go onto that one, this is the one, let me just see what level that is. That is the 1272. So we have the 1272 with the 1.886 macro, and we have the 1.382 with the 2.0 macro. So I think that will be a strong confluence there as well. All three levels, to be honest, have confluence with them. All three have two major points. So even the 84,000, has the 1.133 with the 1.786. So again, I think that's going to be resistance. That will be resistance. But the way it's looking at the moment, I think that'll be the minor wave 3 resistance rather than the macro top. I do think the macro top will come in one of these areas. So that's something to watch out for, as we're going forward. Yeah, so another interesting thing to look at this in terms of fib time zones, and what I want to show you here is how long the wave after the correction, how long did it take? Okay, so what I'm saying here, and probably many others are saying here, was this is the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Okay, so we know we have 3 distinct waves, as you can see on screen. Now, how long did this wave 3 take in comparison to this wave 2 correction? So I'll get the trend based fib, I'll put it on the the correction time, and what we can see is that in comparison to this correction, the top came in 1.382 in terms of fib time zone. So it was 1.382 times longer than this correction, and that was the wave 3. And the wave 3 is normally the strongest wave, parabolic wave, and it's very forceful. As you can see with this, there weren't many corrections in this wave 3, and it went quite parabolic. Now, if we look at if we look at the wave 4 correction, okay, which started, in my opinion, it did started here, right? I know some people might think it started here, but for me that is a B wave. Okay, I won't go into too much detail, exactly what it is, but a B wave can overshoot the wave 3 top. There's nothing wrong with that in Elliot wave. It can overshoot. So this was like an expanded flat. If you want to go and learn about Elliot wave, learn about the different types of corrections. There's so many different types of corrections that can happen, and this one was an expanded flat where the B wave overshoots, and then you get 5 waves down to end the correction. So you can see, if I just do it very quickly, you have the A. So this is the A wave down, then you have the B wave up, then you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 waves down for the wave C, and then we continue. Then we start our major wave 5. So anyway, let's look at the correction time for this one. So I would say the bottom was here, about here, right? And what's interesting, so if we take the same measurement here of the 1.382, so if wave 5 is 1.382 times longer, or in time, than this wave 4, that will take us into January 2025. I know some people are saying January 25 is a key date, and well, it could be, and that would end up a normal right translated top as well. But for me, this is interesting. This one here, which comes in June, and this is just the 1-to-1 extension here. Because why I'm thinking the 1-to-1 extension is because wave 5 shouldn't really be as long or longer then wave 3. It can be, don't get me wrong, there are instances where it can be, but if we just look at it from a technical point of view, wave 5 is normally not as it's not as how can I say, strong as wave 3, and in time it shouldn't be as long as wave 3. Obviously there's exceptions, and it could be. And if I look at that, so if it's a 1-to-1, so if it's the same 1-to-1 ratio as this wave here, it will end in June, okay? And obviously the next one we have in January, and I don't think it's going to be that long, which will be in June of 2025. So for me, really, June is a pivotal month, and there will be something, I think, that comes in June. It's the 1-to-1 extension, and we'll just have to wait and see. Just as here, the 1.382 was the turning point for the market. We'll wait and see if the 1-to-1 extension of the wave 4 will give us some clues into what will happen coming into maybe a macro top of some of the levels I've discussed before. Okay, now let's go into total 3 and total 2. Let's go into total 3 first, because this is something that's I'm looking at a lot, especially with the altcoin market cap. Now you can see here, this is on the monthly, so it'll be kind of slightly different, but not too much, right? We're poking ahead through the resistance here, yeah. But the let's go into the weekly, and that will give you a great idea of what's happening. So if you look here, so right now this is such a key area, because once we break this diagonal resistance, and what I mean by this is that this resistance is actually, if we go back, this is the macro resistance from the all-time high of total 2. Once you break that resistance, there's probably a 90% chance, maybe more, that you're going to break all-time high of the market, which is total 2. And I do think that's going to happen regardless. It's in the cycle. Otherwise, we're going to have a really rubbish alt season, right? But again, you can see we're in between support, major support. This is the golden zone. This is the 6.6 and the 6.18 gold retracement level here. So anything that comes into here, and we have come in, in the last few days, I would say, we've dipped into it quite a lot, and you can see the wicks, the buybacks, right? A lot of the alts are being bought back. Anything into here, for me anyway, personally, I wouldn't hesitate. I would add to positions. If I really wanted something, I'll look at the chart that that I want, which altcoin I want, and I would look at where it is as well in conjunction with total 3, because we're getting buybacks. Yeah, don't get me, possibly we could come back down and wick the bottom here, which is 664 billion. It could happen. We could take all this liquidity and then carry on. But this is such a key area. Once we break this area, we're going to be going on to like 833 billion, and then once we break basically the diagonal resistance, and this is the 786, you're well on your way to all-time high. So this support is key for me. We've already tested the 0.5. Now we're at golden zone support and the diagonal resistance. So keep your eye on total 3 for this, for the break, because once we break, it's you can see in the last cycle as well, once we break the golden zone, it's pretty much setting all-time highs. I'll just take you back to the last cycle. We hit it, we retraced, closed inside the golden zone, broke into all-time highs. Now, when I look at total 3 as well, so I'm going to look at total 3 and the ultimate targets for total 3. So let's see if I got them here. So let's see if we just go into, let's take off the fan just to make it sort of a bit more clear, and let's go into the macro targets. So if you look at, like, again, this is again is similar to the Bitcoin chart. What I'm saying is that we haven't finished this cycle, right? This is still that was the wave 3, wave 4, and now we're going into wave 5. And similarly to Bitcoin, you got we should, in all honesty, break the 1.382, which is about $1 trillion, right? So this should break, and the next major resistance is around 1.7 trillion dollars. Okay, so that could be, and that is the 1.618, which is, that's where Bitcoin topped out in wave 3. If you weren't following, for the last chart, that's where Bitcoin topped out for the wave 3. So that could be a target, a realistic target, and then above that you got the 2.6 trillion at the 1.786. Me at the moment, I don't think it'll go. I'm favoring between these two targets here. I'm not really thinking that it would go to all the way to the 4.4 trillion, which is the extension, which is the second 2.0 extension, or the 1.886, which is around 3.4 trillion. My focus would be on about 2.5 trillion. It could wick up to 3 trillion. Wick here, reject and come down. But these are the levels I'm looking at. And if I put the current fib on as well, just to look at what kind of confluences this gives. If we look here, with the 1.618, we're sandwiched between the 1.382 here, and also we've got, I think that's the 1.272. So we've got a cluster of resistances here around the 1.6, 1.8 trillion. But this one's interesting to me. The 2.5. You got the two of the strongest resistances together, which is the the 1.786 on top of that the 1.618. So 2.5 trillion is another target I instantly gets drawn to because how close they are. They're right on top of each other. So this could be the wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5. Something like that. We could be having. So keep your eye on both of these resistances for the ultimate macro top, especially when we come into June and those sorts of months. Also, okay, let's quickly look at total 2, because total 2 is interesting as well. Obviously that's with Ethereum, and what you notice with total 2 is that it's ahead of total 3, which is understandable. And I did say, what if we're retesting this, and this is what total 3 is going to do. Okay, this is the weekly chart, so you're going to break out, you're going to retest, and then you're going to get on your way. So all these charts offer clues. Bitcoin done it first, Ethereum's doing it second, and now the total market cap of total 2 is doing it, and then total 3 will do it, and so on. So they all give clues as to what's going to happen. And the breakout, the retest, I saw that retest when it actually came down here, and I thought that was a perfect opportunity to buy altcoins when it retested yesterday. I don't think we'll come below this resistance, and then the next target for total 2 will be about 1.4 trillion, which is the 886. So again, just look at the retraces for total 2. Let me just see what kind of fib is on this. I think this is the macro fib. Is it? No, I think it's the local one. So again, if we let's just do this now. Let's take off that one, and let's see if this brings any confluences. Let's take the fan off as well. Where's the fan? We're going to take the fan off. Okay, so again, similar. This is similar. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking for the fifth. We're looking for the fifth somewhere. So if we take the fib, and we say from the high of 2017 to the low here, let's see. I know it looks a bit messy. I don't like charts. I normally clean them up so they look easy to follow, but I'm just doing this rough now. So these are the macro fibs, the ones that are coming across. Do we have any kind of confluence here? So that will be the top. So we got the 1382, which is around 3 trillion. Okay, 3 trillion. And above that we have, that would be the 1.786 macro fib. I'm sure, yep. Let's see where the 1618 comes in. So the 1618 will come in around 2.2 trillion. 2.2 trillion with the 1.33. So, there's not, on the total 2, there's, I can't see any that are really screaming at me. Yeah, there's the one here, but I don't think it's going to get to 6 trillion. I would be more inclined for total 3 to finish in somewhere in this range here, between 3 trillion, 3.5, and maybe 4 trillions. This would be a target, 3.5 trillion. The macro fib of 2.25 up until 3.4 trillion. So this total 2 is not as clear as total 3 and as Bitcoin for me. So I'll probably be looking at those charts more, and then finding a confluence to match with that. So that would be total 2. So let's look at some of your charts. I've picked out these 4 coins, right? PAAL, AIOZ, NEAR, and ZEPH. To be honest, I've looked at AIOZ a bit. PAAL, I know PAAL is done really well, but it's gone quite high up, so I haven't really got any PAAL, to be honest. And ZEPH, I don't know too much about ZEPH, but I'm seeing a lot of tweets about ZEPH, on my feed. So let's see if we want to get into any of these. So the first one let's get into is PAAL. Okay, and PAAL, as you can see, there's not much history to PAAL, and it's just flying. Okay, and if I go into the weekly, it's just like a 1, 2, 3, probably going to get the 4. And for me, for PAAL, the next level up, it's actually right, and the good thing to note here, we just looked at total 2, we looked at total 3, they're all on support. All right, they all came back into support. And PAAL here as well, it's on the 618, all right, from the extension. So that was how I drew this fib. Was you got the first wave, bring it down to wave 2 here, and then you're probably working in a wave 3, which which you have a wave 3 is normally the one of the sharpest waves. And if this is a wave 3, if it does get to the extension, that's at $17, which wouldn't surprise me. This is just an early wave 3. This doesn't even look like this doesn't look finished yet. So you can have, this is actually the support here at the 618 is actually very, very good. It might be a good spot to buy in. If you look at the imbalances, they're way down. So you look at imbalances, and these you think to yourself these should get filled, but they don't necessarily have to. So whether it comes down to 20 cents, I actually doubt it, unless total 2 and total 3 really start tanking. But for me here, it's on fib support, and I would be at least targeting $2 next for PAAL. This is actually a great entry, because where you're wrong. You can put, if you're trading, you can put a stop loss below. This is a weekly chart, by the way, so you can put a stop loss below the wick here, and you've got a great upside potential to $2.3. And I think PAAL is one of these coins that's going to be a really, really strong coin in the future. And as you can see, if you go into the daily, you can see it's actually got support from the, and this is actually another great confluence. I just looked at it now. So you've got the imbalance coming into the bullish imbalance, and now you should really expect it to be going just similar to this. So you had the move up, you have the bullish imbalance, it comes back to fill it, and then you get another move up. So so for me, PAAL is looking pretty good here, and I would say maybe a target, if you're holding for the whole bull market, then you can hold it probably until the end, because I think PAAL's going to go way higher than that. But you can at least hold it to de-risk maybe at $2.40, take out your initial, and from there let it ride. That would be a good strategy. Might get some myself. Let's look at another one. Let's look at NEAR, because NEAR's got some real history behind it. All right, so NEAR protocol. The funny thing about NEAR, I really wanted NEAR, but all the FTX crap really, I don't know, it just swayed my decision not to get NEAR, because I had a massive bag of NEAR in the last bull run, but I just didn't. I should have bought some, but oh well, that's how it goes. So if we look at NEAR here, you're into the first thing I see, you're into the weekly bearish imbalance, probably filled that all the way up till 10, 11. It's going to fill this up all the way to $10, $11. But if you're looking to get in right now, the issue I have with NEAR is that if you go to the smaller time frames, you've got this imbalance here on the golden zone. That would have been a great entry there. So for me, unless it comes into $6 again, $6.40, I can't, I can't. This is just in no man's land here, so you can't really buy it from here. The other one you had was this great pullback into all these imbalances. So this, using imbalances also shows where the liquidity is. Adding them to fibs, it gives you a real idea of how the market's playing. It doesn't really have to go into any, all of the imbalances for people who want to trade imbalances. It doesn't have to go into each one. Look, there's some that it leaves open, and obviously the higher the time frame you go on, the stronger they are. So, as you can see in the bear market, it left all these bearish imbalances, and now it's filling them back up. And most likely, this probably one will be the strongest resistance. You're coming in with the downward sloping resistance, the fib horizontal resistance here, and the bearish imbalance. So, you might get, if you come above that, you probably get a pullback here, and probably even a pullback here. But where it is right now, unless it came back into the golden pocket of $7 or $6, well, we've got $6.4 to $7.2, I would say, for me, the entry is not there at the moment. Looks like a wave 1, 2, looks like we're in the third wave again of NIR as well. A top target for NIR for me, if I'm looking at it right now, just a rough estimate, I'm looking at $68, $67 personally for NIR. Between 46, 68, that would be a end of bull market target. With the 1/6/120, I don't think I can't say it depends how crazy it goes, but the first target I'll be looking at is a 1.382, which is around $65 for NIR protocol. Alright, let's look at AIOZ, and this is something, this is a coin I actually bought around here, and the reason I bought here, now if I take you back of why I bought it around here, so I've put the fibs on, I've put the macro fib from the all-time high of the last bull market to the lows, right? And now all these green areas are basically entries. They're liquidity voids that you can buy a pullback on, especially on the weekly. And here you didn't really have a chance because it didn't come back down. This one as well, because this imbalance would have been created after this candle closed, so you really would have been here, okay, and it didn't come back down. I hope that makes sense. I know from here it looks like, oh, that's a perfect entry, but the imbalance for me anyway, the way I like to trade imbalances, I don't trade them until the candle has closed. So for me, the week started here, so probably I wouldn't even got in at 6 or 7 cents, if I was trading this really strictly to like my plan. The one that you could have got into was here, and that's the one I actually did get into. So you had the third imbalance, and then you came down at 11 cents. And what is great about this, and this is something that you should maybe take into account, the 236, which is this white line here, the 236, right? Let me just make sure that was that the 0.5. That's the 0.5. The 23. Where's the 236 coming in? Yeah. So the 236 is the first sign that this is a bullish. This is turned into a bullish trade. Okay. So the if this is the weekly, maybe on the daily it did. So I have to check. But if we go and retest the 236, that is a great. That's something that is a great buying opportunity, especially inside an imbalance. So let's see if we actually did have one. So that was the 236. We had the imbalance here. There's no buying here. You could have bought in the second. So the best way on the daily you could have bought is around 5 cents. In terms of the trading plan, you're above the 236, and you've got an imbalance here. You could have bought it there. I didn't, but I'm just saying that that's a strategy here. I like weekly ones. You can go into the daily ones. I don't go below daily. I don't go into 4 hours. I know people do, and they trade that day trading. I don't do that. It's just too much stress for me. So for me here, I did buy it here. And now where we are, we had that massive pump. We've got an imbalance here. It hasn't tested the imbalance. The other way, this was probably the strongest buy signal that I would be confident, because what you have here is you have the imbalance and you have the golden pocket. You've come back into it, and then you've shoot it off, and now we're at the 886 holding resistance. Holding support currently. I guess we're holding support at the 886. Let's just see. We're holding support. You got imbalances here, so you've got entries here, you've got entries here, and what will we be targeting the next level up, which will be the all-time high of $1.18 most probably. And AIOZ, my AIOZ target, like I said before, is at least $6-7. I would say $7, 1.382. I'm targeting the 1.382 a lot. If this bull market goes crazy, then we can go into the next level up, which is $21. But at the moment, for most of my coins, I'm targeting the 1.382, which is around $7 for AIOZ. And again, we've just on the monthly. If you look at the imbalance on the monthly, we've just blasted through the last month. There's nothing bearish on the chart anymore. Okay, so after the next month, the month after the next one, this will disappear if we haven't come back in it. So there's only bullish things on the chart for AIOZ at the moment. The last chart I'll go through is ZEPH, and personally I don't really know what ZEPH is about, apart from something about stable coins. I guess I should research it before actually doing a chart on it. But let's look at ZEPH. There's not much history with ZEPH, and that's the issue. With these coins, there's not much history, so you really have to be, if you're bullish on a project, you really should be buying on the first pullbacks if you can. So if you look here, the first weekly bullish change of direction was back in October 2023. Now, was there an opportunity for us to get in here? So we know this is the weekly imbalance. So we go down to the daily, and we go back to October, right, where it happened. And did it give you a chance to get in? In that scenario. So you know what, you could have made it at $2 because you had the imbalance here, but because it was so new, unless you're really confident on the project, you could have got in, and you had other chances. There are many other chances to get in for ZEPH. Now, where we are now, let's just look where we are now, and I'll try to give you some of my thoughts on this. And it works the opposite way. As you can see, the bearish imbalance comes in, you go in, and you can go short if you're shorting it. But so we're in this bullish daily. This is the daily bullish imbalance. So price got inside, and now it needs to actually start rallying from here. Otherwise, you'll be testing the one below that. And if we go on the higher time frames, as you see, you got this whole weekly void here. Now, if it's come down, it's taken the liquidity here, and I would be saying, and it's made another one inside here. So this is bullish for me, and there's such little history in here. But the next target for me, it would be for ZEPH, would be looking at around $82. There's not much history on this chart, so I can't really say much more than there's options to get in, and this looks like a wave one. You come into this two. Let's measure this. So if we look at it from here. Let's take off the trend based. So we didn't even come down to the 0.5, just at the 382. Very shallow retrace there. It would have been, the 0.5 would have been good, but we didn't come there. We're just into an imbalance here. So if I was looking for entry here, where would I look? So I'd go back to the daily. I know we're in a bullish imbalance zone, and this should actually be bought up. So we've got the first zone where we are right now. Okay, if not there, then we got the 382, which comes in at about 15 to 13. So in this area, so we've got two areas where potentially it could come into, and then if it does retrace, we got another bullish imbalance zone here at about 9 $90 to $10. But the way the market's looking, because if you're unsure, so if you look at this and then you're unsure where's it going to go back to total 3, go back to total 2, look how that's doing as well, and then you can add some extra confluence in there. But that looks like that's like a 1 2 3 1 2 3. You might get one more coming down and then going up. Once you break above this imbalance zone here at $32, then you're going to start making, this zone is the key resistance. It's at $34, $33, $32, and then your next target will be, where is it gone? Trend base. So your next main target after you clear here, another alternative, you can wait till it breaks above, retest this bearish imbalance on the upside, and then take it all the way to $81, $82. So I hope that was a bit hope that was interesting for you. I hope you learnt some levels and price levels and where things are going. Obviously it's harder for newer coins, there's not much history, so you have to try to analyze the wave structure, what wave we're in, and then look where to go. But so that's all from me today, and I'll come back with some more of your coins in the next update, and hope you have a great day.